Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Teams from India's top business schools made it to the grand finale of the Mahindra War Room 2013.
I think the competition is tough and it's just getting heated up.
The contest hits its stride as we take you back into the action.
Win or lose, we booze. Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune.
I would say that we were pretty anxious, and so we just thought we'll put in the best that we have.
This case specifically pertains to Mom and Me, which is a one-stop shop solution for all the expecting mothers and mothers with kids up to the age of 9 years.
We started by introducing integrated commerce, which helps us in different cost savings in terms of labor, inventory, distribution, and promotion. Also market extension in terms of new geographies and new products. Differentiation to value-added services and thereby building customer trust is very important. Finally, for e-commerce strategy, we wish to introduce F-commerce and M-commerce.
The feeling was very good. The way we were presenting, we are pretty sure that our suggestions would have clicked them.
I just wanted some clarification. For most part of your second half of the presentation was very exciting actually as to how to improve customer engagement in what is conventionally a brick and mortar business model, which is what is currently the case. And yet the first half of the presentation, I thought, and I'm seeking clarification, seemed to imply that you want to shift the focus for uniqueness into a virtual, integrated, electronically managed business model. So how exactly do they merge?
Sir, actually there are different target segments. So using this integrated commerce, we can reach different target segments. That is one point. Also, the Indian retail is very complex and the demographics are changing very rapidly. Also, the influence of IT and internet is very high. So this approach helps us optimizing it helps us reducing the overall cost and differentiating in the e-commerce industry. Also serving the customers well actually.
Physical infrastructure has the challenge of cost, rentals, staff salaries, other infrastructure. And online has pricing problem. Typically you sell 25-30% lower. That's what your competitors do. Which one of the two would you recommend as a long-term direction?
So definitely the products that we have, they are a touch and feel products in Mom and Me. So we cannot definitely just wipe out the physical stores in such. However, if we just observe, the people are moving towards e-commerce. And there is a gradual shift even for products like we have baby wellness products, etc. They can be bought on e-commerce as well. So there is a gradual shift which is happening. So we'll be catering people not just via physical stores, but e-commerce as well. But the shift is actually towards e-commerce and not just physical.
The questions that they posed to us, they were pretty out of the blues. We didn't expect them, but definitely we gave in our best and tried to answer them in as comprehensive manner as possible.
I like this one. Dumb, dumber, and dumbest.
From MDA Gurgaon, we are team dumb, dumber, dumbest, +1. We saw those 8 seats in front of us where we knew the entire board would be sitting, and right in front from where we were presenting, it was Mr. Anand Mahindra would be sitting right there. So it started coming in, and we got puffed up. We were like, jeetna hi hai, jeetna hi hai, jeetna hi hai stuff. Very good afternoon to the respected judges and the entire audience out here. Market, or the sector, is aftermarket. Product or concept, the Indian Blue Book.
So the Indian used car market is presently heavily dominated by the unorganized sector. However, the presence of OEMs, along with favorable market conditions, makes this a very, very attractive market for a player like Mahindra. Now, we based our secondary research on the US market, which is considered to be one of the most mature markets. And we found that there were 3 major players, KBB, Edmunds.com, and NADA, each of which catering to certain benefits. On comparison in India, only IBB is the pure play vendor in this domain. However, the substitutes are present. But if we try and map it, what we find is that KBB gives the value. However, the awareness is very, very low.
So we started off with the secondary research, the key market analysis, and finding out the major stakeholder issues. Going ahead to the marketing through the 4-pillar activation model, our entire 4 marketing strategies, and finally the implementation. So that's it from us. Thank you so much. So overall, I think whatever concept we wanted to deliver to the top management team over here, we could do that. We're happy with everything.
This suggestion that we add somewhere the Mahindra name to IBB, what is that based on?
So we actually had a very, very long debate about this particular fact because we thought that if Mahindra has gone ahead without that Mahindra name in the Indian book, there had to be reason behind that. We had a talk with few Mahindra first choice people, some management people, and we understood that the only reason why it was being done is there should not be any kind of bias that people should know, or for the OEM players in the structured market, that this particular thing was being done by Mahindra and maybe in line with what Mahindra wants. However, we believed after our entire market research, almost 65 customers and unstructured players and structured market, almost 33 players of them, and the financials very importantly because they wanted trusted data. And we went through a large number of sites where blogs, people were actually writing about the data in Indian Blue Book, and the only factor missing was trust. So what is that one trust factor that actually comes in? How do people believe in the prices that's come up? So it's to the Mahindra name. So what we came to know is that possibly Mahindra has not gone ahead with this particular name, Mahindra name, initiative name in the entire tag. However, maybe post 2 to 3 years down the line, you could plan to include that Mahindra name.
Somehow we felt that a little more could be, we were expecting one question from Mr. Anand Mahindra, which we did not receive. But yes, we know that IBB, the product that we were talking about, working on is Mr. Rajiv Dubey's kind of pet project. So we expected question, we got a question from him. We received a few compliments, like it was an excellent presentation, so we're pretty happy about that. Yes, overall, we are happy. We're happy with the entire response from the jury, yes.
Coming up, the Mahindra War Room Grand Finale continues. Stay tuned.
Now we come to the next presentation, Fishbowl.
The original Invictus from Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies right here in Mumbai.
I'm the master of my soul and the captain of my fate.
We are the team, the original Invictus, and we are here to present the case on agribusiness, where we believe green is good, green is profitable. The Indian agriculture sector shows that the area under cultivation has been constant, the average crop productivity is the lowest in the world, and at the same time, the rising population gives a huge opportunity for us to create products which improve the yields and at the same time conserve the land. For the land preparation, the farmer has variability in the output, and at the same time, there's degradation of the soil. At the sowing stage, the farmer is unaware of the nutrient content, and at the same time, is uncertain about the sowing timing. For the irrigation, the erratic water supply, and the long distance from the home to the farm. At the crop care stage, they are none other as to the minimum residual level, and at the same time, they give an extremely high importance to ground floor consultants. For the harvest, they have the problem of reduced yield and untimely harvest times, and for the sale, is the actual price realization and delayed price realization. So we actually tackle to cover all these aspects through precision farming, use of sensor, automated irrigation system through mobile app, use of biofertilizers, apiculture, and contract farming.
We think the presentation went pretty well. The judges were impressed, we think.
Given the plethora of issues, what are the big obstacles you consider for this, and how do you think about solving the top 2 obstacles? Give me 2 obstacles and how you think about overcoming.
The biggest issue, what we see here is 2. One is the acceptability of the various ideas that we are suggesting. What we are trying to mitigate that by setting up the Mahindra centers, which would actually take care of this whole process. At the same time, the second aspect that we face is the spread for the farmers across India is very high. But at the same time, it gives the challenge for Mahindra that they stick to us. And at the same time, they come back to us.
I began by thinking you were trying to create a particular niche within the farming universe. But as your presentation progressed, I was finding it difficult to distinguish between a simple conventional integrated farm management system and what was uniquely niche-oriented about it. You had biocides, but I didn't see you particularly positioning this differently from a very conventional integrated farm management system. Or am I wrong?
So what we are saying is that going green is not just one aspect through input business. What we are suggesting is that inputs are green, but at the same time, if I'm not taking care of the other resources which are there, I'm actually not creating a complete ecosystem out here. So if we look at the complete ecosystem, we just cannot look at one particular aspect. So as a whole green aspect, it's the biocides, then comes the precision farming with technology and our data analysis, which would help him to conserving the resources, and all this would actually impact the carbon footprint, which is available overall, because all this initiative reduces the footprint.
The kind of questions they put forward to us, and there was one particular thing that we really liked, that after the presentation, Mr. Pawan Goenka told us to hold back and said that what you suggested, that was really nice.
Next team is IGNIS, Indian Institute of Management Technology, Ghaziabad.
Before we were here, like when we just saw the stage and everything and we were all excited, there was a little bit of performance anxiety.
We are Team IGNIS from IMT Ghaziabad, and we are here to present our strategy to catapult Mahindra Retail onto the big league. First, we acquired customers from -9 to 0 months, wherein we identified 3 potential touch points, which are gynecologists, online communities, and nursing homes. So this gives us one basic advantage of acquiring customers early and having a trust established with them, thereafter avoiding clutter, which is established in the later stages. Next, we look to retain customers through mom and me care concept, which will generate a substantial revenue for us, 1. 2, it also gives us an exceptional opportunity to cross-sell, wherein we can have customers going from mom and me express to, mom and me care to the retail store and have cross-channel selling. Finally, we look at how we can sustain that loyalty, which is currently a big problem for mom and me, wherein customers are moving out beyond the age of 2. So we suggested the acquisition of a chain like Ginny and Johnny, which would actually enhance our product portfolio and make sure the customer stays with us till the end of their lifetime. And finally, we move on to the e-commerce market, wherein we suggested we move on from a centralized model to a decentralized model, which is much more efficient in terms of cost savings as well as higher delivery time. All in all, we have estimated that after 5 years, the entire strategy plan, when implemented, will give us revenues of 2,400 crores. And with that, Team IGNIS would like to sign off.
Thank you. We had always thought about putting strategy in our presentation. So I guess going on those lines, the jury basically saw the strategy part. They responded very well, and they asked us the questions depending on those only.
On your care centers, daycare centers, generally, 1, they are in unorganized sector today, the competition. 2, owner is also the manager, so salary cost is low. 3, there are no taxation issues for them, all cash payments. 4, they often operate from part of the house, so no rental. How do you propose to compete with that in an organized way?
Firstly, we are looking at, we are not competing with the unorganized sector. So we studied there are 2 retail chains that we studied. One is in Delhi, which is called Mother's Pride. We actually went to the center and spoke to the moms. So our model does not say you build up, that Mahindra Retail needs to come up with an entire premises. We want to take secondary commercial spaces on rent. So as per our analysis, after the acquisition of 120 kids per month for a daycare center, that daycare center will have operating profit. So that is where our basic crux lies.
I think may the best team win, and may we be the best team.
Coming up, the Mahindra War Room champion is revealed. Stay tuned.
We don't need the fishbowl now because we've come to the last but not the least. Maika from Ahmedabad, Team Outlandish. Please give them a big hand. They're making a first entry in the Mahindra War Room and made it to the final 7.
The level of competition has been getting tougher and tougher. And every time we go into the presentation and we look at our competitors, we are like, oh, okay. So we need to keep doing better and better.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sukaran. This is Varun, Amy, and Pragya. We are from Maika, and we are Team Outlandish, and we have taken up the future of mobility. Before we start, I think it's important to know why we took up mobility. Mobility satisfies a very innate human need to travel. And the thing is that a lot of people make the mistake of confusing mobility with transport. Mobility is not just about how to get from point A to point B. It's also about why a person goes and what he does while he's doing it.
So basically, the cities of the future would be inhabited by millions of people, and they will create a complex ecosystem that will blur your physical boundaries. It would mix categories, it will create new platforms, and it would bring up unforeseen avenues. These cities will not be built for products, services, or technologies in isolation. These cities will be built for people. And to understand the future of urban mobility in such an ecosystem, we first need to let go of thinking of mobility as the process of solving the next immediate problem and start thinking of it as a process of innovation and creation. Henry Ford once said, if I had asked people what do they want, they would have answered a faster horse. Instead, I gave them a car. That's the kind of disruptive innovation we need to look at. Today, we are proposing a solution for the urban mobility systems, seeking to redefine the future by integrating all the players in the ecosystem. For Mahindra and Mahindra, this provides a unique business opportunity to create synergy between the different businesses in the federation and seek the strength of each one of them to create an integrated, multimodal, end-to-end mobility service using dedicated platforms.
I think our presentation went well. It was a very strategy-driven presentation, so we were a little nervous because a lot of other teams were, actually all other teams were presenting on what is, and we were going to present on what will be.
Are there any economics? I mean, who's going to implement it? Who's going to spend the money? Where is the return on capital going to come in? Didn't see any numbers there. You must have surely done some numbers.
We've tried to crunch some numbers over here for the kind of ownership that is the cost of ownership for a user and the kind of cost ownership for the same car if a company owns it. And then translated that costing into, if we create a zone and we are able to service even 60 to 70% of the consumers in that zone of our capacity, we are still generating profits. So we ran the numbers to kind of create what it would look like if we create the system on ground, and it seemed perfectly feasible for us.
Usually whatever things we cannot present in the presentation is what comes up in our question answer round.
I didn't hear how you're going to use the PPP model in this exercise, given the several interfaces that this model faces.
Basically, our app is the central point of focus here. So we are trying to give the user an interface which will integrate not only our means of transport, but also public means of transport within the interface.
We are the champions, my friends.
7 teams fought tooth and nail to convince the judges that they were deserving winners. Now it was all in the hands of the jury. After a rousing debate, the decision was made.
So the runner-up is Team Outlandish from Mica, Ahmedabad. So no more guessing. The winners is I Am Underdogs from I Am Ranchi. Also, as part of the first prize, each of the members of I Am Ranchi gets a free Mahindra Centuro, which will be handed over by Mr. Anil Mathur.